Hello friends, welcome back. So in this session we will learn Java input output API that is available under java.io package. IO stands for input or output API, input output API. And what is the use of input output API? Input output API is used to interact with input and output resources. So what is input resources? What is output resources? Any resources that we used to take the input for your application called input resources, and any resources that your application is using to give the output back to the user, that is called output resources. Or if we take a very basic example of input and output resources, then we can say that keyboard is your input resources and your display screen is the output resources. Or we can say that mouse is an input stream, input resources, and your display or your monitor screen or your laptop display, whatever, that is the output resources. So input and output API that is available under java.io package that can be used to interact with input and output resources. Input resources, any resources can be input resources that is used to take the input for the application, and any resources that your application can use to give the output to user, that is called output resources. And input stream is a way to take the input from input resources, and in the same way output stream is a way, or we can say that output stream is a sequence of bits that can be used to give the output to the to some resources. So input source, from the input source, input stream is being used to take the input, and to output stream, to output source, output stream is being used to give the output to output source. So there is a relation from here, from this diagram you can see input stream your application use input stream to take the input from input source, and your application use output stream to give the output to output source. And from this diagram you can you can understand very clearly input source can be anything. Input source can be a file, input source can be a network, input source can be your keyboard, or any other source, like this can be a mic, this can be your mouse, this can be your scanner. So all these devices or all these resources can be your input source. In the same way output source can be many. Output source can be file, output source can be network, output source can be console, output source can be a display, or output source can be a speaker, or any other example, like output source can be your printing machine. So many output source are available, so many input sources are available. For this input source and output source, we have input stream and output stream. Input stream is used to take the input from input source, and output stream is used to give the output to output source. So this is called input and output stream, and input and output source. So what is a stream here? What is stream here? Stream is nothing but a sequence of bits. So in stream is nothing but the sequence of bits. And what is stream? Stream is used to take input from input source and to give the output to output source. That is a stream. Here we are using stream, input stream and output stream. And stream is nothing but the sequence of bits. Stream can be for input source and can be for output source. For input source we can say that is input stream. For output source, that is output stream. There are two types of stream based on operation. One is input stream, another one is output stream. Input stream sometimes we can say called reader also. Reader is also used to take the input from source, and writer is used to give the output to output source. So reader and writer, or we can say input stream and output stream. Input stream or reader is used to read the data from input source such as keyboard, file, network, etc. And output stream or writer is used to write the data to output source such as console, file, network, etc. We have already seen some examples here. Okay, there are two types of stream based on data. One is character stream and one is byte stream. Byte stream, that is byte value, and character stream is nothing but that can be used for character value. Character value means for one character, value we have given, like English characters are there, A B C D 1 2 3 4 number, or any other programming language like Kakagaya, for that one Unicode is there, so that is also considered as a character only. So to read any character value we can use character stream, and to read any byte value, which value means that file is not in a character form, that is in byte form. Suppose your video file, your PDF file, your audio file, image file. So all these type of files are considered as a byte file, and that we can read using byte stream. And character stream, simple text file, XML file, JSON file, so that all will be considered as a character stream only, character file. So there are two types of stream based on the data type, based on the type, or we can say that based on the data. Data can be byte or in form of byte, or data can be in form of character. So if your data is in form of character, then we have to use character stream, and if the data is in form of a byte, then we have to use byte stream. And byte and stream can be for input and output both. So here input stream is a stream for byte input stream. Here we have already seen there are two types of stream based on operation. One is input stream and another is output stream. Input stream is used for byte input stream, and output stream is used for byte output stream data. We can say that input stream and output stream is used for byte stream. Input stream and output stream is used for byte stream, and reader and writer is used for character stream. We can say like that also. To read the byte data, we have to use input stream and output stream, and to read the character data we have to use reader and writer, because reader and writer is designed for character stream data, and input stream and output stream is designed for byte stream data. Okay, and each output stream, that can be every output stream that can be output stream, or that can be a writer, that must be flushed, because that is a stream. We already have seen that is a stream only. That stream can be writer or output stream. If that stream is a type of output stream, that we have to flush. Flush means this method will place the data to the resource at the last. If you are not flushing, your data will not be written to output source. So we have to use flush. Flush is nothing but simply flushing up. How we are flushing the pipes. We are flushing means whatever is there available in that file, we are pushing to the destination. In the same way, output stream also need to be flushed. So we have to flush this one. Flush at the end of writing all the data. When you have written all the data to your output stream, and now you have to flush them. If you are not flushing, the data will not be saved into your output stream. So you have to use flush method. Okay, for output stream only, not for input stream, because for input stream we are taking the input, we no need to flush. Flush means how we will flush. we will give back to the data. No, that is not like that. We have to flush only for output stream or writer. Okay, so now here are the here are the classes for byte stream and character streams. So we will see these examples for this byte stream and character stream one by one. So this is for byte stream, that is a type of input, and this is byte stream, that is type of output. So to take the input for byte stream, we have to use input stream. And these fives are the implementation for input stream, because input stream is an abstract class. This is an abstract class, and this is the super class for byte stream of input type. This is the data input stream, file input stream, object input stream, byte array input stream, buffered input stream. So these all are the implementation for input stream, and input stream can be used to take the input of byte stream data. In the same way, output stream is also given. Output stream is used for output used for byte stream output. Suppose this is also an abstract class. Byte stream is also an this output stream is also an abstract class and super class for all the byte stream of output type. So if we have to give the output, and that output should be type of byte stream, so we have to use output stream, and we can use any of the implementation. That can be a data output stream, that can be a file output stream, byte array output stream, buffered output stream, or object output stream. It depends on your requirement, whether you want to take the data from file, you want to take data from the array, or if you want to take you want to give the stream as an object. So whatever we will see these examples. So this is byte stream input and byte stream output. For byte stream input, byte stream of input type, we have to use input stream, and for byte stream of output type, we have to use output stream. We have to remember this one. And for character stream, reader and writer is there. If it is a character stream of input type, we have to use reader. If the character stream of output type, we have to use writer. So for character stream of input type, we have to use reader, and for character stream of output type, we have to use writer. And these are the implementation for these three: character array reader, file reader, and buffered reader is the implementation for reader, because reader is an abstract and super class for all character stream of input type. For all character stream of input type, reader is the super class. Reader is the super class, and this reader is also an abstract class. So that has to be implemented, because for abstract class you cannot create object. In the same way, input stream and output stream, that is also the abstract class. We cannot create the object for that one, but we have to use any of the implementation. That can be file input stream, object input stream, object output stream, file output stream, accordingly. In the same way, reader is also an abstract class, and this is a super class for character input stream of character stream of input type. So this is reader. For reader, this 4 are the implementation, and this input stream reader is a bridge. We will discuss this one also. In the same way, character stream of output type, for character stream of output type, writer is the super class and super and abstract class for character stream of output type. And for writer, there are these are the implementation: character array writer, file writer, buffered writer, and print writer. So we will see these examples here. And what is the use of input stream reader and output stream writer? So this is a bridge. We have seen already written here, bridge. What is the meaning of this bridge? So input stream reader is a bridge between byte input stream and character input stream. How? Suppose you have a stream of a byte type. You have a stream of byte input type, but you want to read that stream in form of character input stream. How it is possible? Your stream is a byte type, no? Then how will you transfer to that stream into character in character stream? So you have to use this input stream reader. Using this input stream reader, you can typecast, or no, not typecast, you can convert, sorry, you can convert, you can if you have an input stream object and we want a reader object, then we can convert byte stream to character stream by using input stream reader class. In the same way, if you have output stream object, means here the stream the byte stream is a type of input stream, but here the byte stream is a type of output stream. So if it is an output stream type of object you have, then if you want to get a writer object, then you can convert the byte stream to character stream using output stream writer class. So we will see this example also. So to start with the this character stream, sorry, byte stream input, byte stream output, character stream input and character stream output, we must know the file class first. So what is file class? Suppose if I say very basic example, what is file? File can be anything in your operating system, because in your Linux operating system everything will be considered as file, whether this is a directory or this is a file, everything is a file only. So we will see this file class first. File is useful for to do the operation related to file. Suppose in your operating system, suppose if I open this directory, so this is a temp files, this is a directory. Inside this directory you may see so many files are there. Some of them are text file, some of them are video file, PDF file or image file. Text file, these are the text files, these all are the text files. You can delete this one. Okay, these all are the text file, 4 text file, 1 image file, 1 video file, 1 PDF file and 2 directories are there. Directory and folder same. Okay, in the perspective of operating system we can say this is a directory, but in the perspective of user we can say this is a folder. That is different. Okay, file and folder, that is same only. So in this one so many files are there, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 files are there, and each file has a type actually. That can be a text file, PDF file, image file, video file, audio file, any type of file it can be. So this is file. To represent one file we have to use file class. File class, you can get any information related to the file. File class has a various method to get can be used to get the information about the file, and file class can be used for both. That can be used for file and that can be used for directory. So let's see this file class first. Suppose here we have created one path string. So this is a path. So this root path is pointing to this directory only. This root path is pointing to this temp files folder or directory, and inside this directory one file is there, that is called file1.txt. File1.txt is not there. File1.txt is there. So we are taking this one, and I have created one file using that file path. I have created. Yeah, this file is available, java.io. So this is a file. And from this file you want to check whether this file is existing or is hidden, or what is the size of the file. You can get using length. What is the name of that one? That file can be readable. Yes, that is readable. That can be executed, or sorry, that is writable. Yeah, that is writable. That can be executed. No, it's not executable file. This is a text file, simple. It's not executable file. So if I run this one, you will see all this information. Is existing? Yes, this is existing. Is hidden? No, this file is not hidden. What is the length of this file? 864 bytes. 864 bytes. Yes, from here you can see from here downside you can see here 864 bytes is there, the size. Okay, and this can be read, yes, it's a readable, it's a writable also, but it is not executable, it cannot be executed. This is a text file. Executable file is what that is your shell script, or that is your window exe file, that is executable file, or bat file for window. For Linux it is a shell script file. So these all are the executable files. Or if it is .java .class file, that is also executable file. So that is the executable, but this .text file is not executable, so it is a false. Okay, so this is all the information that you can get from this file. Next one, delete option is also there. If you use this delete, that particular this file will be deleted. Suppose if I copy this one again, I will give this as a 0. Okay, this is 0. So now here 0 and 1, two files are there. So because why I copied this one, because if I delete, then I need that content again, so I am just copying this one. So now this file is there. So if I delete this one, this is a delete means it will delete this file. If I run this one, yeah, this file is deleted. If you go to the directory, file 1 is not there, it is deleted. So to do all the operation related to file, you can use this file class. Delete on exit, that is also fine. If you use delete on exit, that also you can use. Delete on exit means whenever this main method is executing successfully, after this after the ending of this body, your file will be deleted. It will not be deleted immediately if you use delete on exit. Exit means exit from this method. On whatever method you are calling this file.exit, exiting from that method, after exiting from that method, your file will be deleted. It will not be deleted immediately. If you use this delete method, the file will be deleted immediately. Okay, this is the difference from delete and delete on exit. Okay, create file. If you want to create a new file, you can create. Suppose this file is not there, this file is not available. Now this file 1 is deleted. No, file 1, file 0 is there, file 1 is not there, it is deleted. But if you want to create that file, you can create that file. And whether this is a directory, no, this is not directory, this is a file. So now what it will do, it will create the file. See, file 1 it's created, but it is empty now, 0 bytes. You see, it is empty because we have not written any content to that file. That is a directory, no, this is not a directory, this is a file. Okay, so this is a file, it's a true. So this is about the file. So from this file you can directly point to directory also. You can use directory also. Close this one. Okay, so here this is a directory. Definitely this root is directory, this is a directory. Temp files, this is a directory, it's not a file. So is directory will be true this time. Is directory will be true, yes, this is a true. And list means how many files are there, means names of that file, it will come. Names of files, it will come. How many files are there? File1.pdf is there into this root directory. Data stream input file text, one player.png, file.mp4, character stream input stream file text, my folder, this is another directory, this is another directory, this is a file, this is file, this is file, this is directory. So all it is giving the name. And you can use this method by passing some filter also. This is a filter, list dot is, now it is applying filter, and filter we are taking only the text file, whatever the file text file is available, only that name will come now. Text file, other files will not come. If I give here dot png, I think that is png file, no, image file, yeah, only one png file is there. If I will take only mp4, one file is there, that will come because we are applying filter here. Yeah, and this list, if you open this implementation, file name filter, and file name filter is nothing but interface, functional interface that has a one method. Okay, we have already seen this functional interface. So this is the use of this file class, using this one. Or see, here we are taking we are using list method. Here also list files means this is returning a file object, here it is returning string object, no, string array object. Here it is written file array object. So you can list using file also, no issue. Up to your choice. From the file we are printing the names, yes, it is coming. Or if you want to apply the filter on file, you can apply the filter, because only the text file I wanted to take, so only the text file will come now. And I wanted to take only the directory, or that also we can use. Here this is same, only text file will come. And if whatever I wanted to use, if it is a directory or something, then how it will be, file dot is directory, only directory will come now. How many directories are there? 2 directories are there, my folder and my directory. Here only those 2 will come. So this is the methods of a file class. Some statics methods are also available for that file, we will see that one now. What is the file separator, how it is separating the files using this one, how it is using the path separator using this colon. Okay, that is fine, that is now here. Okay, it will create a file, it will create a temporary file. So suppose you can create a temporary file also. So file dot create temp file, where it will create the temp file, it will create in your temp directory, because every operating system has a one temporary directory that is called named as a temp. So it will create into that one, and with the extension null, means it will not create any extension for that file. Here it will create the files into into your temporary directory with the text, with the txt extension. Okay, and here in this method, you can create the file with this name, with this extension, into this directory, So this is our root directory. If I run this one, you will see this file will be created here. So this file is created here, see my file with some random number, because this is a temporary file. Okay, so this is fine. And list roots is also there, that one method for this file. What is the meaning of this list root? How many roots are available? Suppose if your operating system is window, so in your window operating system, how many drives are there, like C, D, E, F? It will list all that drives, all the drives it will list. But in Linux operating system, only one drive is there, that is this one only. Remove this one, sorry. Okay, only one. This comment this also. Okay, sorry. So only one drive is there, that is default drive in Linux operating system. But if it is a window, then you can create 2, 3, 4, like A, C, D, E, F, like that. That is up to your choice. So it will list all those. So this is all about the list class, file class. This is all about the file class. So after using this file class, we can create this stream for byte stream or character stream accordingly. So first we will see byte. So first we will see byte stream, byte input stream and output stream examples. So so first one is a file byte stream, because we have already seen for byte input stream, file input stream and file output stream can be used to take the input from file. File input stream and file output stream can be used to take the byte data input stream from the file. So first we will see this example, file byte stream. So for file byte stream, we can create input stream using file, or we can create input stream using file name, and in the same way output stream we can use with file name, and we can use output stream with the string file name or with the file. And this append, if we use as a true, then it will append if the file is already existing. Suppose for output stream we are creating for output stream we are creating one file. So that file, if it is already present in your directory, so if in that case, if you want to append into that file, then you can use this append boolean value as a true. If it is a true, then it will not replace that file, it will append into that file. So this in this way we can create output stream, or we can give simple file name also without creating the without giving the file object. We can give the file name itself, that will also work, or with the file name you can give this is a boolean, that is also fine. So this is up to your choice, however you want to create the object for that one. So let's see the example first. So here byte stream, file stream. Okay, so if you see this code here, what we are doing at the line number 12, first we are creating, we are not creating, we are pointing to a file, pointing to input file to read the byte data, pointing to input file to read the byte data, and that file is a player.png. And for that input file we are creating one input stream. Input stream is equals to new file input stream of this input file, and after that one we are reading all the bytes. How many bytes are there? All the bytes we are reading into this byte array, because this is a byte stream, that's why it is a byte array. For character stream, that will be a character array. For byte stream, this will be a byte array. So all the bytes we are reading. Otherwise, how we can read? We can read some buffer size. Suppose how many bytes we want to read, in the next iteration we will read. So we can read in that way also. So currently I am reading all the bytes. How many bytes will be there? I am reading. We will see that one, how we can read in the form of sections. That also we will see. And after reading this all byte from this input stream, from this player.png file, I am closing this input stream, because we have to close input stream and output stream, that should be closed after performing the IO operation. Once we have performed one IO operation, we have to close the input stream and output stream. But to close the output stream, we have to flush first. We will see this one also here. Okay, so here byte reading operation completed, because we have already we have written we have read all the byte here. All the bytes we have read already at line number 18, and we have closed the input stream also. So we are printing one message byte data reading operation completed. Okay, so after that one we are creating one output file. Output file is what? We are giving this name, file stream output file player.png, with this name. So if you see this directory, there is only one .png file is available, no other file is there. I am taking input from this player.png file, and after reading the bytes, I have to write that byte data into this file. So I have creating new file, so creating output file to write the byte data. And after that one we have created one output stream object. Output stream is equal to new file output stream, and into this output stream I am writing the data, which data that I have taken from the input stream. So that data I am writing into this output stream, and after writing this output stream I am flushing this stream. After flushing I am closing this stream, and I am printing one message that byte data writing operation completed. So if I run this code, you will see this message here, byte data reading operation completed and byte data writing operation completed, and we have successfully closed the streams and flushed the stream. So if I open this directory, you will see here one file came, file output stream.png. This file and this file is same data, but the name is different, because the name we are giving this one here, file stream output file player.png. So the same file is there, output stream output file player.png. Okay, so in this way you can read the data from file input stream and output stream using a file input stream and file output stream. And suppose one more thing, we are reading all the bytes here. You can read some bytes. Suppose I have taken some buffer here. Suppose suppose I am not reading in this way. Okay, we will see that in separate class, because how many bytes? Suppose I want to read this file in form of chunk means in parts. Suppose if your file is a 10 MB, So you don't want to read this 10 MB at once. It is not a good practice. Suppose if your file is a huge 50 MB, 60 MB, it will take more time to read. So what we will do meanwhile, we will read some bits. We will read some bits, and that bits we will write into. So we have already read these bytes. But if your file is more than 10 MB, 15 MB, 16 MB, or 100 MB, so you should not read all the bytes in the same statement. You should read some bits into a form of sections, and that section you read and you write that one. Read and write, read and write, parallel that operations we have to do. So that we will see that in a separate class. Okay, so this is about the file input stream. The next one is buffered byte stream. So what is the meaning of this buffered byte stream? So from this byte stream you want to read in form of buffer, so you can use buffered output stream, buffered input stream and buffered output stream. Suppose let's see that code first and you will understand. Buffered stream. Okay, so here the same thing we have created. We are pointing to the same player.png file. From that file we have created one input stream. From that input stream we have created one buffered input stream. So this is the next step that we can use for buffered input stream, and we are reading all the data. Currently we are reading all the data here. You will not see any difference, but the data will be read in a form of buffers. Okay, and this buffered stream we are closing. After closing I am printing one message, and after that one I am creating one new file, buffered output stream, buffered stream output file.player.png, and for that file I am creating one output stream. From that output stream I am creating buffered output stream, and into that buffered output stream I am writing all the data, whatever the data we have taken from input stream, buffered input stream. From buffered input stream, whatever the data we have taken, all the data we are taking, and we are closing this we are closing this buffered output stream. We are flushing this buffered output stream, and we are closing this buffered output stream. Buffered input stream we have already closed here. So if I run this one, you will see the examples. You will see the output, and you can see now one more file came, buffered stream output file. So this is the same. So we are taking the input from this file, from player.png, and we are giving the output to this file. Okay, so this is about the buffered output stream. How we will read in form of buffer, that also we will see. Okay, next one is byte array, byte stream. So byte array is used for byte array input stream and byte array output stream. For byte array input stream and for byte array output stream we can use this. Suppose if you have one array, byte array stream. Okay, suppose we have this array already in our programming. Because we have already seen this, what is array, how we can create the array. So this is, suppose we have an array of a byte, and inside this array we have taken some elements. From this element we want to write into some file. So how we can do that one? To do that operation we need byte array input stream and byte array output stream, because the input we have to take from the array. We are not going to take the input from file. We have to take the input from array. So this array, for that array we have to use byte array input stream and byte array output stream. So this is our output array, this is our input array. We have created the data for stream. So this is input array, this is an output array, and we have created one byte array input stream and byte array output stream. So byte array input stream we have created for this array, so that's why we have given this array here. And for byte array output stream, if we are not giving here, so by default some size it will take 32. Okay, or else you can give some of the size, like this size is 6, so we can give here 6, no issue, that is also fine. And for this byte array we have to write. So what we are doing here, from this input stream array we are reading all the data into this one. Suppose you can read, we can give this statement here, no issue. We are reading all the data, we are reading all this data here. So we have taken this data into this one, and after that one, what we did here, we have created one file, because this data, suppose now this data came into this array. If you print this here, byte b, you will see this data came here, sorry, output data. But we have to write this data to some file also, so that we can see the result. Otherwise we can directly print here b, and if I so we have taken this into this one, and if I close this currently these statements, you will see, yes. So this data came for A, B, C, D. Now this is taking a byte, because this A is a character, but data type is a byte. So that's why it is taking 97, 98, 99, 100, 11, 101, 102, because this is a byte array. So this will take the in form of a bytes only. Okay, so it is reading successfully because we are printing output. But what is our job? We have to use byte array output stream also. So for that one, we have created one byte array output stream, and for this byte array output stream, what we have to do, byte array output stream, we have to write into this output stream. We have written Rolex here. So this is byte array output stream. So to this output stream, so this byte array output stream, we have written this data, this output data. But where we can see this data, we cannot see that data now. We have to place that data to some file only, then only we can see. So for that purpose, we have created one file. We have created one byte array stream, byte array stream output file, and for that byte array output stream, for that file we have created one output stream. For that file we have created one output stream, and into this byte array output stream, what we have to do, we have to write this byte array. So this byte array output stream, write what we will write, whatever the data is available into this byte array output stream, whatever the data that is available into byte array output stream, that we have to write into this output stream. So we have written in this way, and after that one we are flushing this byte array output stream. Yes, what we are doing, we are flushing this byte array output stream, and we are closing byte array output stream, and then we are closing byte array input stream also. That we can close above also, no issue. After writing this one, we can close. Byte array output stream, byte array input stream. Where is byte array input stream? Byte array input stream we are already closing. Okay, that is fine, that we can close even here. Not even here, after reading also we can close. Byte array output stream, we have written all the data, we have read all the data from this byte array input stream, and we are writing into this one, and we are closing this byte array input stream. Okay, after that one we are creating one byte array output stream, and from that byte array output stream we are write operation is there. Where is the write operation? Byte array output stream dot write to okay. think something we are missing. Yes, so we have to write this data. So from this output stream we are writing this data, but we have to see this data. For that purpose we have created one output stream file. For that output stream file we have created one output stream, and into this output stream we have to write this byte array output stream. So write two operations we are using, and after that one we are flushing this byte array output stream. Okay, so if I run this one, you will see. So this data is we have printed, and this data we have written into some file. And what is the file name? Byte array stream. So byte array stream, yes, inside byte array stream you can see A, B, C, D, E, F. So all this data coming. Okay, so this is the use of a byte array. This is the use of a byte array input stream and byte array output stream. From this array, from this byte array, we are taking the input, and we are giving the output to this array. This is the input. This data is an input array. This is an input array, or we can say input input data. This is our input data. From this input data we are creating one byte array input stream, and from this byte array input stream we are reading all the bytes array into this output data, and we are closing this byte array input stream. After closing this byte array input stream, we are printing this one. We are printing this data. Wait, we'll see. Printing output data. So this is the we are printing the output data. So yeah, it is printing here. It's printing here. Okay. And after printing, we are creating one byte array output stream. Byte array output stream, to this byte array output stream we are writing this data. We are writing this output data, and after writing this byte data, if we have to see this data, what is the data available that is under byte array output stream, so that data we have to write into some file first, and inside that file we can check what is the data available into byte array output stream. So for that purpose we have created one byte array output stream, one output stream, and into that output stream we have written all the data what is available into byte array output stream, that is that we are writing into that stream. After that one we are flushing that byte array output stream and closing. So if you run this code, you can go to that file, and you after that one you can see. So inside byte array output string, yeah, so this is available into that one, A, B, C, D, E, F. This same data is available into this array. So this is the use of byte array input stream and byte array output stream. And the next one is data input stream. So what is the meaning of this data input stream? From where you will take this data? So let's see this example and you will understand. Byte data stream. Okay. So this one is the data. So data means we are first what we are doing, we are pointing to one file, that is a data stream input file. So what is data stream input file? Data stream input file. So this is a data stream input file, 198 245 C true, etc. So from this from this data, what you can understand, this is looking like primitive data. 198, that can be an integer. 245.45, that can be a float or double. C can be a character data. True can be a boolean data. 999, that can be a long data. So this is a it's looking like a primitive data, and but that primitive data is available into some file. So if you have to read that one, then in that case you have to use data input stream and data output stream. Data input stream and data output stream. So we can say like that, data input stream and data output stream can be used to read the primitive data in byte stream. Data input stream and data output stream can be used to read write the primitive data in a byte stream. That can be available into some file or into some that can be taken from some source. That is up to your implementation. So currently we have to take this primitive data from the file. So that's why what we have did here, we have created one, we are pointing to some input file. So this is a data stream input file. For that input stream, for that file we have created one input stream. From that input stream we have created a data input stream. Using this data input stream we can read read the data in form of boolean, integer, byte, character. So whatever the primitive 4, 5 and data types are available, for that data types we can read the data using this data input stream from the file. Okay, and we are also going to write this data into some output file. So this we are pointing to some this is creating output file to write the data, to write the byte data stream output file. For that output file we have created one output stream, and using this output stream we are creating data output stream. So after creating this input stream and output stream, after creating this data input stream and data output stream, we have to read the primitive data. So first what we are doing, this is our data input stream, so from this data input stream we are reading integer value. First, what is the value, what is the first value? First one is integer value. 198 is an integer value. Okay, so that integer value we are reading, and that integer value we are writing into data output stream. So this is our input stream. From this input stream we are reading input value, and after reading this input value we are writing the same integer value into our data output stream. And in the next step we are reading the double value. So this 245.45, this is our double primitive data type. So that we are read double, and that double we are storing into double value, and after that one we are writing into data output stream. Write double, read double, write double, read int, write int. So these method is available into data input stream and data output stream. So corresponding method for the corresponding primitive data type we can use. If it is a character, so then we can use read character. Yes, read character, write character. Read character is available under input stream, and write character is available into output stream. In the same way we can use read boolean. So this read boolean method is available under data input stream, and write boolean is available under data output stream. So here read long, write long, and after that one we are flushing the output stream, and we are closing the output we are flushing the data output stream, and we are closing the data output stream, and data input stream we are closing after that one. So this is the use of data input stream and data output stream. If you see the example, if you see the definition, data byte stream can be used to read write the primitive data in byte stream. So you can create that data input stream and data output stream using input stream and output stream only. So this constructor is available only. So for this input stream and output stream we have created the data input stream. Using input stream for this file we have created data input stream, and using this file we have created the data output stream using this output stream, because this output stream is pointing to this output file, and using this output stream we have created the data output stream. After that one, corresponding read method. If the value is integer, then we are reading that one. If the value is a double, then we are reading. If it is a character, we are reading. And the corresponding write method also for write method of data output stream we are using. If it is a character, write char, write boolean, write long, write int, write double. So read primitive value method is available into data input stream, and write primitive data method is available into data output stream. So corresponding method we can use and we can write, and if I run this one, you will see. So this one is written is this input output operation is completed, and how many lines, how many bytes are available? 30 bytes are available. Okay, so that is that we have read from this one, and we have written into data output stream file. So in the data output stream it is coming same only. This way sometime it will give in this form also, because this is a byte, this is not a character, this is a byte actually. So that's why this may differ sometime, but it will read in this form only. Okay, the next way in the next one, object byte stream is there. So far what we have seen file byte stream. File byte stream can be used to take the can be used to read write to do the read write operation from the byte from the file. And buffered is also available, that can be used for used to read the data from the byte stream. And byte array stream can be used to read and write, can be used to do the read write operation for an array. In the same way, data byte stream can be used to do the primitive data type operation, to read and write, used to read write the primitive data in a byte stream. If it is a primitive data, we have to use data byte stream. If it is a array, then we have to use byte array stream. And if you have this stream, but if you want to use if you want to read in form of buffer, then you can use buffered byte stream, buffered input stream and buffered output stream. File input stream, file output stream to read the data from the file, and byte array input stream and byte array output stream to read the data from the array. And byte and data input stream and data output stream can be used to read the primitive data, can be used to read or write the primitive data from the input stream or output stream. Next one is object byte stream. What is object input stream and object output stream? Suppose here object input stream and object output stream, if you have to see, so yes, object input stream first we have to see. Suppose we have one class that is called a person, and this person class has some field: name, age, gender, mobile number, verified. So all these fields are there. I want to save this state into the file. So object input stream and object output stream can be used for serialization. What is serialization? Serialization is the process of saving the state of Java object into byte stream, and deserialization is the process of retrieving the state of the object of a byte stream. To achieve the serialization and deserialization, we have to use serializable or externalizable interface. Suppose here this person class is available. So this person class has some field like name of a string type, age of byte type, gender of character type, mobile number of long type, verified of a boolean type. Suppose if I have created one object of a person and I want to save that a person object into some file, then how it is possible? Or not into file, I want to save that object into some resource. So how it is possible? We have to use serializable interface. This is the first condition. Using the serializable interface, we can because this serializable interface is a marker interface. It's a marker interface. It doesn't have any abstract method. So this we have to implement fast, and after implementing this one we can use object input stream, and using this object input stream we can read, and in the same way we can use object object output stream also. So what is the use of this object output stream? So this object output stream can be used to write the state of Java object into an output stream, or we can say like that, object output stream can be used to write the state of the Java object into some resource. So this is the use of input stream and output stream. If you see this definition also, what is the use of object byte stream? Object byte stream means nothing but object input stream and object output stream can be used to read write the object in a byte stream. Suppose I want to write this object into byte stream. How it is possible? I have created one file like person.obj. So where is this file person.obj? It's not available. It will create, because this person whose name is Ramnivas, and this is the age 25, gender is male, this is the mobile number, and it is a verified, that is a true. So this is the state of this person object. So that person object state I want to save into some file. The first file name is a person.obj. So this person.obj is not available currently, it's not here. So I want to save into this file. So what I did, I have created one person.object file, creating a file, and after creating this file I am pointing to output stream. This is our output stream. Output stream is equal to new file output stream. So into this file I want to save. So for this object file I have created one output stream, and after this output stream I am creating here object output stream, or we can say by using this output stream I am creating object output stream. By using this output stream I am creating object output stream, and this object output stream I can use to write the object. Here we can see write object method is there. Write object, which object? Person object. Which person? That I have created here. So this person I am writing into this object output stream dot write object. Where it will write? It will write into this output stream, and this output stream of what? This output stream is pointing to some file, and this file is available under this directory. So it will write. So this write object method will write the state of this person object into this file, and after that one I am flashing this output stream and I am closing this output stream. So if I run this one, and you will see this one. Yeah. So what is the object? Name is this one, age is this one, gender is this one, mobile number is this one, and is verified as a true. So this is the output operation is completed. And if you go to this directory, you will see person.object, person.obj is coming. You cannot see this code actually. This is some encrypted format, because internally that JVM is doing that operation. This is writing. So we are calling here only the write operation. After writing we are reading into this one. So now this program is ended. What if I want to read that object again? How it is possible? So we have to use object input stream here. So using this object input stream I am reading read object. Which object? Person, and I am typecasting. So first one I am doing, what I am doing, I am pointing to a file that is available under some directory that named is person.object. Yes, this person.object file is available here now. Yes, person.object. After creating this, after pointing to this person.object file, I am creating one input stream, because I have to take the input from this file. Person.obj file. So after creating the input stream for this file, I am creating one object input stream, because from inside this person.obj file, one person object state is available. So I have to read that one. So using this object input stream, I am creating I am creating one object input stream of a person type, and from this object input from this object input stream, this is object input stream, sorry, object input stream, okay. So for this object input stream, from this object input stream I am reading the object. In the line number 18 we are creating an object input stream, object for input stream of a object file, and from that one I am reading the object, and that object I am printing here. First I am closing this input stream, and that after that one I am reading this one. So if I run this one, you will see, yes, now it's came again. This were the state that were saved using byte output stream. Using byte output stream we have saved these values, and we are reading this value into input stream. Suppose if I change this state, suppose this is suppose I will give this as a Krishna, Krishna, okay. Age I am giving here 26, I am changing male, this is fine, true, this is true, okay. Mobile number I will change, okay, this is the mobile number, and if I run this one, so now it will save this value. And if I read this the state of that object using object input stream, so it will be that one only, because this was the state that was saved into that file. So this is the use of object input stream and object output stream. So what is the use of object input stream and object output stream? That is used to read or write the object into byte stream. You can do read operation or you can do write operation from the byte stream of object of what? Java object. And this process is called serialization. What is the meaning of serialization? Serialization is the process of saving the state of Java object into byte stream, and deserialization is the process of retrieving the state of object from the byte stream. So here this the file name byte stream object input stream is the example of deserialization, and byte stream object output stream is the example of serialization. Or we can say that object output stream can be used for serialization, and object input stream can be used for deserialization. So here we can say object input stream can be used for deserialization, and object output stream can be used for deserialization. And what is serialization? Serialization is the process of saving the state of Java object into byte stream, and deserialization is the process of retrieving the state of object from byte stream. And serialization and deserialization can be achieved through serializable or externalizable interface. Currently we have used serializable interface. If you see the person class, we are using serializable interface. Suppose what if we are not using this serializable interface? Suppose I have removed this serializable interface. Now I am going to write into that file. What it will give? It will give some exception, not serializable exception. com.techhub.java standard edition demo io.person, that cannot be serialized. Why? Because this person class is not implementing serializable interface, so that's why you cannot write into the into the object. Not serializable exception. It's not serializable. You cannot serialize because it should implement serializable interface. Either it should use serializable interface, or either it should use externalizable interface. We will see the difference of them. So currently I am using serializable interface, implements serializable interface. Okay, if it is a serializable interface, we have to provide serialize version UID. What is the meaning of this version UID? That is used for versioning. Suppose some other version you are giving that you have to give this serializable ID accordingly. Otherwise you cannot read. If the ID will differ, you cannot read. If ID will same, then only you can read. Suppose I am reading this one, sorry, currently I am writing into this, I am serializing this object. I have serialized here in this output stream. Using this output stream I have serialized this one, and after serializing, I suppose I have changed this one. I have added one more number here, and now I want to deserialize. It will not give. Invalid cast class exception, incompatible, because the serializable ID is differing. Here the serializable ID is this one. Whatever the object that is serialized, this is the ID for that one, but you are giving this ID, so you cannot deserializing it that way. So it is a differing. So this is the meaning of serialization and deserialization ID, serialization user ID. If you give this one, you can serialize. Now it will be serialized, no issue. It will not give any error. Yes, it is serializing. So this is the use of serialization and deserialization. So this is the use of this serializable interface. Suppose what if I don't want to serialize some of the field? How I can do that one? That we can achieve using transient keyword. What is the meaning of this transient keyword? Transient keyword can be used to avoid serialization for field. Suppose I don't want to serialize this name, so I can use transient here. If I use transient here, the name will not be serialized. Suppose now we have given for this name, we have given transient, and I am serializing. So the serialization process is done. Serialization process is done now. And what? Sorry. So now this is serialized. Okay. Yes, serialization done. Now I want to do the deserialization. So while doing deserialization, if you see, name is null. Why? Because name field is not serialized. Why name field is not serialized? Because we are giving here transient. We have given here transient. Transient means transient can be used to avoid serialization. Avoid the serialization for field. I want to avoid this field, so I can give this transient. Simple. What is the okay, this is the use of what is the use of externalization? Serialization we have seen, transient we have seen. What is the use of externalization? Externalization is, see, serialization is a marker interface. Yes, that is the okay, and serialization interface is used for serialization or deserialization of the object into some byte string. Serialization object must have a private static of this field to identify the object, that we have already seen, because serialized version UID can be used to identify the object, whether the object is same or whether the object is different. Okay, so this is the meaning of serialization, serial version UID. And what is the meaning of externalizable interface? Externalizable interface, this is an interface to allow us to customize the serialization and deserialization, or we can say that externalization is the process of customizing the serialization, or we can say that in simply word, externalization is the customization of serialization. Externalizable is the process of customization of serialization, or we can say that customization of serialization is called externalization. Okay, externalizable is an interface, and externalizable is also the subtype of serialization. And externalizable have the following two abstract method: read external, write external. Read external and write external. So now we will use externalizable. So if you see this externalizable, that is again extending serializable only, and this has two method. One is write external and read external, that is taking input stream and object in output and object input. So we have to give the implementation for this one into this person class. Yes, so we have given this implementation here. So now we can customize. How we can customize? You can see here, whatever field I want, I can serialize those field. Whatever the field I want, I can serialize those field only. If it is a transient, that also I can serialize. That is my choice only. So that's why it is called externalization is the customization for serialization. Externalization is the customization version of serialization. So I have customized, I want to serialize this name also, even this name is transient, but still I want to serialize this field. So how I can do? I can do out, using this out dot write object, which one? Name. Yes. Write string I think is not there, because string is another right. Okay, write string is not there. Write int age, only these two field I want to serialize. That's it. Write int and write object and name. I don't want to serialize this is verified, gender or name. I want to serialize these two field only. Remaining I don't want to serialize, even it's a transient then also. So how it is possible? Using this externalizable interface. Using this externalizable interface I have written, and I have to read in the same order. In dot read object into this dot name. That's it. Just typecast into string, no issue. Next one is this dot age is equals to in dot read int. That's it. So it will read and write operation will happen. Mismatch cannot converted from byte. This dot a, sorry, this is a byte I think. No, this is byte. In age is a byte. Okay, so if it is a byte type, then we have to read write byte here, write byte and read byte, read byte. Okay, and now we have serialized these two fields only. So now this is the customization for serialization. Now this is the externalizable. We are using externalizable interface and externalizable interface is the customization for serialization. So we are customizing here. Now we are writing. Yes, so this serialization is done. Now we are going to deserialize. While doing deserialization, you can see only name and age is serialized. Gender, mobile number, verified, this is not serialized. Why? Because we have customized the serialization. Only the name and age, we have serialized. If we want to serialize out dot write boolean is verified or something, that also we can serialize. Yes, here this dot is verified is equals to in dot read boolean. That's it. So now it will serialize. The is verified field also. Yeah, serialization is done. Now I will deserialize. So using this deserialize, if you see, verified is also coming true now. So this is called serialization and deserialization. And serialization and deserialization can be achieved through serialization interface, serializable interface and externalizable interface. The difference between serializable and externalizable we have seen this one. Okay, so this is called this is the use of object input stream and object output stream. Object input stream is the object input stream can be used for deserialization and object output stream can be used for serialization. Next one is the character stream classes. Okay, for character stream, what is the use of this character stream? We have to read the character file. So to read the character file, we have to use file reader and file writer. File reader, we can give the file name, or we can give the file object also, or we can give file object with boolean value that can be used to append, or file name with the boolean value, or simple file name we can give. So first we will see file reader and file writer for character stream. Okay, so file character stream, file stream. Okay, so this is the file, this is the file reader and file writer, file reader and file writer. So we have created one file here. This file we are pointing character stream input file. So character stream input file is already available, I think. Character stream input file, yeah, this is character stream input file. Defining the server runtime environment preference. So this is the character stream input file. So from this file we have to take the input. So character stream input file we are pointing. After creating this, after pointing to this file, we have created one file reader and we have created one output stream also, sorry, output file for this character stream. For this character stream we have pointed to this file character output stream dot file dot txt. So this file is not available, so it will create this file. And for this writer, we are creating the writer for this output file. And here if you see, we have given one buffer size. So in the same way, see here we are using this buffer size. So this same buffer size you can use for byte stream also. Same thing, same code will be there. So that we have given here. So we have defined one 127 character size array. This is a buffer, and we have given one index also. Suppose. So in the bytes, while reading byte stream, what we did, we read all the bytes into a same one statement only. So but here we will not read the whole file into same statement. How we will read? We will read the file into form of sections. Some bytes we will read and we will write. We will read and write. We will do that operation. The same operation you can do for byte also in the same way only. So here what we have did, we have created one buffer of 127 character, and we have defined the index, from which index we have started and how many bytes we have read. So this one index we have giving as a 0, and here we are reading and we are assigning into this index. What we are assigning? How many characters from that index we have successfully read, that we have to write into this index. And if it is greater than 0, then we are running this loop again, and we are printing this one. And the same we are writing, the same buffer we are writing, starting from 0 index to index. How many bytes we have written, that we are writing into this, right? And we are flushing, closing the streams, or means a writer and a reader. So we have closed this writer and a reader, and we are flushing fast this writer. So if I run this one, you will see. So what is the index of value? 127, 127, 127, 127, and last one is 146, because the how many bytes is remaining, how many characters are remaining, that only it is reading and is writing. And if you see this character output stream file, so same data it is coming here. So this is the use of character input stream, and you can read in the form of buffer also. Same in the same way how we are reading for character stream, you can read for byte stream also. We can define here byte array. Here currently we are defining character array, you can define byte array, and the same methods are available: read, buffer, write with this from this index to this index. You can do the same operation. Okay, so this is the character file character stream, file buffered character stream. Same thing byte buffered stream, yeah, character buffered stream. So character buffered stream is what, from this reader we can create buffered reader, and from this writer we can create buffered writer. And here what is the advantage you are getting? You can read line completely, because this is a buffer one line. In the last one, in the file stream, we are using reader and writer, but for reader and writer, read line of a method is not there. See, if you see here, read is there, but read line method is not there. But inside buffered stream, read line method is there. Inside this buffered writer or buffered reader, read line, write line is there. Write line is not required, you can write this line also. So this is the read. So here lines are there, I am checking with line. If it is line available, I am reading, so I am writing, and after writing I am closing this one. Remaining operations are same. You have to create first you have to point to some file, then you have to create reader. From that reader you can create buffered reader, and in the same way you have to create one output file. For that file you have to create one writer, and for that writer you have to create a buffered writer. And inside this buffered writer you can use this read with the character array also, or you can read the lines also, that is also fine. Okay, and we are printing these lines here also, and we are printing these lines into this character stream output file 2. Yes, this one only, same thing. Okay, so this is the but here you see one difference after lines, and here if you see exact inside this one, this is our actual file. Sorry, yeah, this is our actual file. Yeah, this is our actual file, and inside this actual file and this correct using this reader and writer, you will see the same content. But if you use this character buffered stream, this new line will not become, because it is reading only line by line. After each line, the next line you have to give explicitly. But if you use reader and writer, that everything will come in the same order. So this is the one difference you will get. Okay, next one is character array stream. So character array reader, character array writer, character array reader, character array writer. So that is similar to character byte array input stream and byte array output stream. So in this character stream, they have given character array reader and character array writer. That operation is same only. So character array stream, yes, this is character array stream. For this character array, what we have did, we have created one character array, and we have created the character array output also. This is for input. From this character array we have to take input, and into this array we have to give the output. So we have created one character array reader. From this character array reader, I am reading this this value, and I can close this one here also itself. I can close, yes, this one or I can close here, no issue. Okay, we will close this later, fine. After that one, what I did, I have created one output file, because this character array output, this character array writer. From this character array writer, we are writing this this character array, but that array, how we can see, we have to write into some file only. So this file, into this writer I am pointing here. I have to give this writer here. Using this writer, I can write into that file, and I can close this writer and character writer and reader, all we can close here. It's quite similar to that only. So what is the value for XYZ, and what is the file? Character array output stream file, I think. Character array, yes, XYZPQR, same only. So this is the character array reader and character array writer. To read the value from array, we have to use character array reader, and to write the value from array, we have to use character array writer. character array writer, we are writing this array, we have to write this array. Okay, we can close this one. So this is about the character array stream, array stream. Next one is the print writer, because print writer is also available for character stream. No, for character stream print writer is also given. So what is the use of print stream, print writer? Print writer can be used to write the character data to writer, output stream or file. Just to write the data, just to write the data. So writer, yeah, print writer demo. So this is a print writer. So what we are doing here, first we are printing print writer output file. So this is a file only, simple file. We are creating one file. Into that file I am creating, for that file I am creating one print writer. So into this print writer I want to write something like hello. I can write and I can flush and close, so it will write. Yes, so it is writing print writer file. Go to that directory and print writer file is available. Where is, yeah, this is a print writer. So it is writing hello, it is writing hello. And if the same way, this is I am print writer I am creating using this file. From this output file, for this file I am creating print writer. We can create that one also, no issue. Or if we want to create print writer using file output stream, that also fine, we can create. Here we are giving file output stream for this file and we can write. So this will also write hello world, anything, just I am writing. Yes, it is writing. So it is reload this one, hello world it came. And the next one we can create from the writer also, new writer also you can give hello world again, you can give, and we can flush and close. So that is also fine. Yes, so this is the use of print writer only. So what is the definition for that one? Print writer can be used to write the character data to writer, output stream or to the file. So this is about the input stream and output stream of character stream and byte stream. And one more class is available, that is called scanner. Scanner is not available into java.io package, that is available under utility package. That also you can use to read the, to take the input from the file. Suppose this is a scanner, we have created the scanner for hello world and we can write this. Yes, it's printing. Next, and this scanner you can create, means in this size scanner, if you see scanner has so many other methods. Scanner dot next short, next big decimal, next boolean, next byte. So you can read primitive data, you can read string, you can whatever you want to, you read long. So many methods are there. Has next is also there, whether it has a more element, it will take, it will reading, or you can use this scanner also. And this scanner can be created using new scanner. Yeah, you can use file, you can use input stream, you can use path also, or you can use readable, file, input stream, path, readable. So these many constructor are available. You can use stream. Yes, stream is also there, input stream. So you can create this scanner, and using this scanner you can read the input. That is also fine. So this is all about the input stream and output stream API, input stream and output stream API in Java. So in the next session we will see a logging API in Java. So I hope you like this session. Please subscribe my channel and we will see you in the next session. Till that, bye bye and thanks for watching.